It's not only important to what the climate of a location is, but where that location is on the planet. Is it in a mountain region? Is it on the coast? Is it along a rivershed? Is it near a global trade lane, whether over land or by sea? The physical topography of the land, the location relative to other nations. Of course, also what's under the ground as well as where the ground is located. In other words, the geology, the minerals, the fossil fuels that may be located, or the nature of the soils, whether they are highly productive, perhaps fed by silt brought by great rivers such as the Nile or the Tigris and Euphrates, which provided nutrients with each growing season. So the physical shape of each place in the world has also helped to determine the economic structure, the measures of prosperity, the defensibility of that location from attack from others, or the vulnerability of a location to foreign conquest. All of this is shaped by the locations of mountains, plains, coastlands, distant hinterlands in the interior of the continents. We can generalize on a few points. Mountain regions are typically regions of mining activity. In those mountains are exposed metal ores or other resources that are critical for the manufacture of important commodities, for building materials, or for the minerals for modern machinery and for today's digital age. Mountains are also generally protective of communities, making it harder for outside forces to attack. But mountains are also, of course, isolating barriers as well. They provide protection from attack, but they dramatically raise transport costs. So exporting from mountain regions to the rest of the world is often extremely difficult, if not impossible, except for those few very high-value commodities that might come from the mining sites in mountainous regions that can bear the very high transport costs. The plains regions of the world, like the vast plains of China or the vast plains of the American Midwest, are, if climate is suitable and if the soils are suitable, the places of the highest productivity for crop agriculture. It's very difficult to grow staple crops, wheat or maize or rice or millet or other staple crops in highly mountainous regions or regions where the topography is very unstable with sharp slopes, for example, that make it difficult to plow or difficult to maintain soils that can easily be eroded by heavy rainfalls. So it is on the plains where the large concentrations of world populations have lived, and especially the great plains of central China have been for millennia the places of the highest population densities on the planet. Coasts are, of course, extremely beneficial for trade because, as Adam Smith noted already in The Wealth of Nations in 1776, trade by sea is much less expensive than trade over land. And that fact has remained true even through the age not only of horse or camel-based trade, but also trade along modern highways or by rail. Shipping along coastal areas or transoceanic shipping is the lowest cost trade in general, compared with overland trade and certainly compared with air-based trade. And so coastlines have, again, from ancient times been the locations for major economic concentrations and for the world's large cities. Rivers, of course, are also vital transport networks. They are the key to navigation into continental regions. And so if one combines a river with a coast, that is at the estuary or the mouth of a river as it enters the ocean, that kind of location is typically enormously productive for economic activity because one gains the benefit of ocean navigation as well as the benefit of inland navigation along a river. I guess I should know, I live in such a place in New York City, which is what it is, the commercial capital of North America, precisely because it is on the coast, but also at the mouth of the Hudson River. The Hudson River is a river that runs from the Atlantic Ocean north to in New York State, and then it connects by a man-made canal to Lake Erie and to the Great Lakes system, more navigation that enabled already in the early 19th century low-cost transport from Chicago, a most inland city in the United States, to New York, the Atlantic coast, and from New York to global markets on low-cost oceanic sea-based trade. So that combination of rivershed and coast is a very powerful combination. Think New York City, think Rotterdam, think Shanghai, the great center of economic activity of China, with Shanghai being a coastal city that is also the estuary of the great Yangtze River. And so Shanghai not only is a base for China's global trade, but is an entry point for trade into the interior of China, reaching into central China to Sichuan province, the great interior cities of Chongqing and Chengdu, which serve economically something like the role of Chicago in the United States. Great metropolises in the center of a continent, connected by sea-based trade to a major port city, and from that port city to world markets. In all of these cases, economies are shaped by their physical topography, and societies are shaped by their physical topography. The long Great Plains concentrate populations, enable easy movement of goods and services, and tend to unify language as well among the traders and the merchants and the settled communities. Mountain regions, while they are the places of mining activity, they also tend to be the more isolated parts of the world, places where very distinctive cultures arise, and often where many individual language groups persist over ages, even distinct from neighboring valleys. So in highly mountainous places in Papua New Guinea, there is a language in each neighboring valley in the mountain zones, in the great mountain regions of Ethiopia, many native languages, and so forth. The plains aggregate and connect people. The mountains tend to separate people. The coastlines bring national economies into contact with the rest of the world through low-cost, ocean-based trade. Where you are located and what is under your ground, whether it is oil or coal or natural gas or diamonds or copper or none of the above, also will fundamentally shape your economy, your society, and the place of the national economy in the global division of labor in an interconnected world system. So climate, physical topography, geology, all interacting to produce the shape of globalization and the shape of the world economy.